Absinthe make you drunk at night. Absinthe make you better in morning.
Why say more word
When
when less
the
word do trick? There's literally more computing power in this closet than NORAD had in 1999.
Got the computer recording, got my laptop, got my phone with the timer on it so that we don't go too long.
And an iPad.
Yeah, the iPad. So you want to talk about the elephant in the closet?
Do you mean the fact that we're in a closet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we did it, folks. We threatened it. What was it, 2 episodes ago? One
Many.
episode ago? One of the episodes ago?
Many.
We're in the closet.
We're here. We migrated from our living room.
Our living room, which literally has one soft surface, the couch, and the chair, I guess, technically, to our closet, which has many soft surfaces.
Yeah.
Attempt number 1,887 of making this podcast sound better and it'll be less annoying when I have to edit it.
So we thank everybody for sticking with us. This is Tales of Plenty, our podcast. And I'm Logan Runquist.
And what is our podcast?
Oh, it's a podcast. What's your name?
You're not going to explain what the podcast is?
You're not going to say your name?
I'm Kendall Runquist.
The anonymous voice over there is my husband. This is a podcast that we do every other week, and we research some stuff.
Boy, we really need to get...
We need to tighten this up. So we research particular stories on a theme every other week, and we do not share them with each other prior to. We are discovering each other's tales directly on the air right now.
I was thinking something along the lines of like, this is a podcast where it's a newly married couple that are sharing stories with each other.
How about you go suck an egg?
It's been 4 months. Can we still consider ourselves newly married?
Before a year, you can
Okay.
still consider yourself newly married.
Gotcha. So, do you want to talk about our theme
Sure.
for this episode?
Sure. I'm not really sure how we came up with it.
I think it was you that talked about it because we were talking about your grandmother and all the different like phrases and old wives' tales that she used to say.
Yes.
So that's kind of how this came about, of our theme of old wives' tales for this episode.
Old wives' tales. Which I always thought was kind of rude. However, I Googled, I was going to share this later, but the word, it used to be old whiffs tales, which used to just
Okay.
mean like, actually, why don't I just read from my thing instead of just spitballing?
Yeah, that was something I didn't know if we were going to get into or not, but it seems like a bit of a derogatory term nowadays.
Yeah, it's not really. The name Old Wives' Tale, I got this, I believe, from one of my sources, is thought to have originated from the fact that older women would often pass down their advice to the younger generation in the form of sayings that were easy to remember and or digest. The term came from the Old English word of whiff, meaning woman. So, I mean, back in like the Old England days, you would say like, "Come here, old woman." It wasn't really derogatory. It was, instead of saying young woman as an identifier or a qualifier, it wasn't necessarily as rude. If you called someone an old woman today, that would indeed be rude.
You get mad if I called you a whiff or an old whiff.
I mean, a little bit. I only just had a birthday, so like maybe.
Yeah. Come here, you young whiff.
I'm going to call you a whippersnapper. So yes, as Kendall said, my grandma was from the Appalachia region of West Virginia. And I'm sure my story is not uncommon. I'm sure everybody's grandmas has weird sayings. All of our friends have Texan sayings. So mine are sometimes not usual. A lot of people don't know mine.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because we're based in Texas, so you always hear the Texan ones all the time.
Yeah.
But we probably don't hear the more Appalachian ones, which I don't know if that's what you got into more for yours or not.
For my stories, they were kind of just generic ones.
Just generic. Okay,
Maybe
mine were
not
kind of
as
too.
region specific, but I did text my family and get some direct ones.
Nice. So quick, I guess, kind of thing about this before we jump into them is what we kind of noticed with the old wives' tales was there's usually not a lot of information on them. So we're kind of doing more like quick blurbs about them. So
Blurb is a funny word.
we're gonna both have maybe more stories. See how long it takes us to get through these. But we'll probably each have like a little bit more stories, but they'll be shorter for this episode. Whereas normally we try to do 2 each. We might have like up to 4 each this time, but they'll be shorter.
Yaga.
So yeah, just kind of a thing for this episode, just because they're all kind of shorter things to go through.
Yaga.
So just FYI ahead of time. Do you want me to start, or do you want to start after you're done burping 16 million times?
I'm sorry.
I should probably go so that you can burp it out.
I'm just asking, did you go first last time?
I think you did. I don't remember. I can go first. So
It's not because I'm burping. Let the record show that he's not going first because I am burping. He is just going first to go.
So my source was primarily this article that I found. What?
Wikipedia.
No, it was not Wikipedia. My source was an article by Jessica Booth at insider.com.
I love her.
Okay. It was basically just like a list of a bunch of different old wives' tales and some information on them. There was like, I think, one that I got some additional information, so I sourced that. But the first one that I'm going to do is titled Hair of the Dog.
Solid.
Which Hair of the Dog is basically, the idea is that you have to have some hair of the dog to help get rid of a hangover. I'm burping now too.
He's burping now too, just so everybody knows it's not just me.
We shouldn't have had a drink before this.
We had a wee tipple.
Speaking of drinking, hair of the dog is meant to get rid of a hangover. If I'm being totally honest, there's a lot of things I learned about this. What I thought it meant was that you were drinking dog hair.
Ew.
So I didn't know that this actually meant something else. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that because I would die from allergies.
Right.
So that's weird. But no, what it actually means is that you need to drink the same alcohol that made you sick the night before. So if you're pounding absinthe last night and getting crazy, then first thing in the morning, you got to drink some more absinthe, man. And you'll go, it has the opposite effect the next day. Absinthe make you drunk at night. Absinthe make you better in morning.
Why say more word
when
less word do trick?
Apparently that's the magic formula. Except it's not.
No.
Are
you talking about absinthe because we were watching New Girl the
yes.
other day?
It was the highest alcoholic drink that I could think of. Or alcohol. Highest alcoholic alcohol that I could think of.
I believe it's still you are drinking
It's a spirit? I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
Technically.
Spirit.
According to the Oxford Dictionary, the origin of hair of the dog is rooted in the old belief that if you were bitten by a rabid dog, you had to drink a potion that contained some of the hair of the dog, or to put the dog hair on the wound, and that would cure it. So you had to make yourself an old-fashioned potion.
Tasty.
But this has been proven that, no, this doesn't help. It'll only most likely postpone your hangover and not actually help it. So you might be okay because you're still keeping yourself buzzed the next day. But when your body starts to get back to normal, you're probably going to still have a hangover.
Yeah.
So.
fan theory that I'm thinking about. Polyjuice Potion in Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put some of the hair of the thing that you want to turn into.
Yeah.
You think this has anything to do with that? Mm?
It might be.
Correlation?
Hair of the dog.
Anybody? HP fans? Hi.
So that was my first little thing.
That was great, babe.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing.
What's your first one?
My tales, I'll just tell all my sources because all of mine came from both of these, were the website rootandbone.co.uk and bestlifeonline.com.
Live your best life.
It made me think of that Office episode where Dwight makes like a sim character exactly
Yeah.
identical to his real life.
Second Life, yeah.
Yeah, secondlife.com or
And
whatever.
then he makes Second Life.
And that's when they were like, is Dwight depressed? My first Old Wives' Tale, you've probably heard this one, is if you spill salt, table salt,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
throw some over your left shoulder.
Is it left? I think I always do it the wrong way.
It has to be your left.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why. Okay. This legendary tale dates back to the 1500s and finds its origins in Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper. A pile of spilled salt can be seen near the crook of Judas's arm, presumed to have been knocked over by the traitor himself. Thus, spilling salt is associated with bad fortune and corruption. And to spill the salt is to invite the devil himself into your life, because obviously Judas betrayed Jesus, and so he's often thought to have been potentially momentarily possessed by the devil. We're not entirely sure. I mean, we have free will as humans. But anyway, that was kind of one way to attribute that. So common belief at the time was that the devil sat on your left shoulder or stood behind you on your left, while God perched on your right shoulder. So throwing salt over your left specifically was said to blind the devil once he appeared. And so I just thought that to be really interesting. You know, I studied art in school, and the Cenacolo, or the Last Supper, was something that we studied. And I don't recall seeing salt on the table. Granted, we don't talk about that. We talk about the placement of the disciples on the table, excuse me, like before or behind the table, in reference to where they're sitting with Jesus, and kind of like the knife in Peter's hand, and you know, kind of other symbolism. But I had never studied salt on the table.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's interesting.
I will be posting a picture of it, and I'll try to zoom in on the salt
Yeah.
if I can and circle it.
Yeah, I was going to ask, did you go back and look after you read that and notice it, or?
I'll be honest, I forgot. However,
Okay.
with the magic rectangle in my hand right now,
You're going to look at it?
I will Google it. Do you want to look?
Sure.
It's under his hand in the
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see.
It kind of looks like a napkin, but in other pictures of it, in different lightings and in different like color sharper images,
Yeah.
it does in fact look like
It
salt.
could be salt. Yeah.
And some of these are also different like artist interpretations too. Some other artists who have redone the piece claim to highlight the salt.
More than like the original work.
Yeah. Like I just saw a redone version, and it like looked really purposefully put there. So I'll do a little more digging, maybe post 1 or 2 photos of that. I found that to be very interesting. Because that's the one, I mean, so just so everybody knows, the Da Vinci one that we're talking about is in the Da Vinci Code, Tom Hanks. Great film, everybody. They go to Sir Ian McClellan's house, and they're describing, you know, the V, the chalice, the space between Jesus and they're saying, who is that disciple on the other side of Jesus? And then they're like, that was Mary Magdalene. Look at the hair and the, really, I believe it's supposed to be Thomas, if I'm not mistaken, because he's younger looking. So that's the Da Vinci we're talking about. The V in the center with the spacing between the disciples and
Right.
the windows behind Jesus. Yeah,
Okay. Cool. You ready for my next one?
sure am.
So my next one was about eating carrots and improving your eyesight a lot. Like basically giving you night vision.
My mom always said, eat your carrots, it'll make your eyes better.
Yep. My mom did too. And I always thought that like that would literally give me night vision, like I could see in the dark.
Solid. But did it make you eat more carrots though?
Not much. I was never a big fan of carrots. I'm still not a big fan of carrots.
You don't like that beta carotene?
Nah, not really. Take my vitamin A somewhere else, son. I've been watching too much New Girl. I'm becoming Schmidt.
He is becoming Schmidt, which is kind of a very scary thought. Sometimes things will come out of Schmidt's mouth and I'll think it was Kendall. And I'm like, oh no.
So the root of this, it was actually kind of interesting to look into this one. The root of it actually dates back to World War II.
Cute.
During the war, the British Royal Air Force developed a new radar that helped pilots shoot down planes at night. And to try to keep their technology a secret, they ended up starting a propaganda campaign that said that the secret to their success was carrots. And that eating carrots gave the pilots superior vision at night and helped them see during the blackouts that occurred during World War II. And that's what allowed them to shoot down all the enemy planes.
Interesting.
There is a little bit of truth to this old wives' tale. As you mentioned, carrots are a good source of beta carotene, which converts into vitamin A, which does help maintain your eyesight, but it doesn't drastically improve your eyesight. It just kind of helps keep your, it's the vitamin that helps your eyes, basically. Your body can only process so much vitamin A at a time until it doesn't need any more, and then it just, it doesn't use anymore.
You poop it out.
Yeah. You poop it out. So it's, it's just a vitamin just like anything else, that, helps maintain your body, but it does not give you better vision. Right. Otherwise, I would have eaten them all the time so I can stop wearing glasses.
Oh, honey.
Because I've been wearing these puppies since like 3rd grade. I don't know. It's been a long time.
Oh.
I remember I was sitting at the front of a class with, back then, projectors, like the old school, like, sheet, and it was on, I forgot what you call those.
A transparency.
Transparency, yeah.
Did you sit in the best seat right next to the projector where the warm air would come out?
No, it wasn't that seat.
Oh,
it was like back of base.
That was the best seat where you could feel the warm air come out.
Yeah. But anyway, I was sitting in the front, squinting my eyes, and I couldn't see anything. And I realized maybe I need glasses because I can't see anything and I'm right next to it. So, been wearing them since ever then. Since ever then. That's very weird words. Ever since then. There we go. I fixed it.
Well, honey, you look very dapper with your glasses.
Thank you. So what is your second one?
My second one is using garlic to ward off vampires.
Nice.
We're getting into hashtag spooky season. So that was also another reason why we kind of picked old wives' tales. We're going to delve into the weird and the possibly supernatural here in the spooky month of October. Yeah,
in the spirit of Halloween and October, our next probably 2, I think, since this is every other week, episodes are going to be spooky themed.
Spooky.
I mean, probably something more specific than that, but themed.
Or not.
Themed for Halloween.
Yeesh.
So just to kind of get in that spirit.
Yes.
So look out.
Look out. So
we're behind you. Oh my God.
If you were listening in your car just now, I'm really sorry if I scared you. So using garlic to ward off vampires, probably one of the most famous and well-documented food superstitions is that garlic fends off vampires and the evil eye, depending on what culture you're talking about.
The evil eye?
Yeah, the evil eye, like in Greek Orthodox sort of old wives' tales or mythology, I guess. The Greek, you would always hear it like old Greek women would like put the evil eye curse on you, which basically just meant they would sort of hex you.
Oh,
and if you got the evil eye put on you, sort of bad things would befall you. That's another kind of myth in Greek sort of history. I think it kind of transcended over into Italy as well, possibly because Greece and Italy are close to each other. Anyway. The great debate is how this tiny food can hold such power over a creature that can shapeshift into a bat and fly, live for eternity, drinks the blood of living creatures, and can only be killed by a stake through the heart, as we know. One thought is that back in the 19th century, garlic was used in gardens to repel mosquitoes and other blood-sucking insects.
Oh.
And so that kind of led Bram Stoker to use it for the first time as a weapon against the Count in his classic novel, Dracula.
Dracula.
I want to drink your blood.
Ah, not the garlic.
So I thought that one was very interesting. And I don't recall, I went to the Bram Stoker Festival in Ireland a couple years ago. I don't recall any instances of garlic, nor was anybody really wearing garlic. So that was a bit of kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
I was expecting garlic to be everywhere. Maybe there was, and I just don't remember. I was very sick with a cold at the time. So.
All right. My third one is this I got from the previous article, but another source that I got for this one was from a New York Times article by, I'm going to butcher this so hard, Anahad O'Connor.
Okay. That's an interesting name.
It has to do with sitting too close to the TV will make you go blind.
My mom told me that one. If I had $1 for every time my mom said that to me,
Yeah.
man, I'd be a rich woman right now.
Speaking of that, actually, it's kind of interesting. It doesn't seem like there was an exact origin. It seems like there was just kind of a consensus from parents ever since the TV has been a thing that you shouldn't sit too close to it because it'll ruin your eyes. But it's not from a specific instance from what I could find. It was just like group think was mothers everywhere. Just like all of a sudden we're like, don't sit too close to that. You'll ruin your eyes and go blind.
Okay. Did you ever get the one where don't watch it in the dark?
Yeah.
Because you'll ruin your eyes.
Yeah, I've heard that one too.
Yeah.
So before the 1950s, TV sets emitted levels of radiation that did heighten the risk of eye problems.
Or just growing a third eye, just in general.
Yeah, I mean, that happens sometimes too, you know. But modern TVs are built with proper shielding within the cases of them. So radiation isn't really like an issue anymore. So sit right next to those TVs, everybody. I'm just kidding. It certainly causes eye strain.
You don't want to strain your eyes.
Just like, you know, looking at any other screens, like working on the computer all day, like most people do in the office, or even things like really long drives because you're focusing on the road for so long. All those things cause eye strain. But or doing what you're doing right now.
I'm straining my eyes at him directly.
It's kind of scary.
I think I pulled something in my neck doing that.
So it does cause eye strain, but it won't make you go blind, and eye strain is easily remedied. You know, you just take a break every now and then. Don't look at the TV. Just kind of, I think one of the things I've heard is like stare at a corner of the wall, focus on that for a bit, and then you can focus back on the TV or screen or whatever it is that you're looking at, and you'll be fine.
Take a break.
Exactly. One thing you do want to pay attention to with your kids, though, is if they are sitting too close to the TV and you tell them to kind of sit back, but they keep seeing them like crawl closer, it's not going to make them go blind, but it could be a good indicator that they need glasses because they can't see the TV. So you should still pay attention to your kid while they're doing that, but not for the reason of they'll go blind, more for the reason that they might need glasses because they can't see the TV.
Right.
So that's why they keep getting closer to it.
Right.
Which is the more important thing to be looking out for. And that's kind of all I got on that one.
That's great, babe.
Thanks.
My third one, funny enough, is the old wives' tale that terrible things come in threes. Like nominations of 3.
You say this too, I think, sometimes.
I do sometimes. So it's really interesting. I really didn't find where this came from. I just thought it was interesting to mention that this website said pretty much anything can quote unquote come in threes if you frame it a certain way. Perhaps that's why it's so easy to convince yourself of the fact that bad things come in threes. After all, this notion is pretty much expressed every time a celebrity passes away.
Yeah.
That this superstition is so widespread and well believed.
Yeah.
And
Celebrities die in threes.
yeah, okay. No joke, though. I'm not a superstitious person. I would say I'm a little stitious, to quote The Office. It's a great quote. Just a little stitious. However, like, my mom and aunt and myself are all in a group text, and when one celebrity passes away, we will text each other and we'll be like, so and so passed away, and someone will inevitably say, waiting on the other two, and inevitably in like the next couple of days it'll be like boom boom boom, like 3. And yes, of course, I know maybe other lesser known celebrities, you know, they die all the time, but I'm talking about like big ones. I mean, it was just recently, I feel like we were doing this. I could probably scroll back through my text messages, and it was just like boom, 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 1, 2, 3, right in a row.
Yeah.
So, y'all, I don't know if this one is true or not. However, with the celebrity thing, I mean, whatever your persuasion on celebrities are, you like them, you don't like them, what they're involved in weird stuff. Some of them probably are. I don't know. But I think it tends to trend that they do die in couplets of 3. Would that be it wouldn't be a couplet of 3, it'd be a triplet of 3? I don't know. A nomination of 3. Grouping of 3.
3 is the magic number.
1 is the loneliest number.
It's not the song I was thinking of.
Oh, what were you thinking?
Schoolhouse Rock. 3 is the magic number. Don't you remember that?
I just wanted you to do that.
Whatever.
So, sorry that one didn't really have an etymology. I think it's just been so widespread. Maybe because 3 is just a popular number, like in mythology, like 7s and 9s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's always like certain numbers that you see over and over again in mythology, or even like Christian literature and things like that, like the Bible.
Yeah. And we found out watching that Game Over, that's what it was called, right?
High Score.
High Score, thank you.
Yeah.
That was
On
not
Netflix.
Game Over. Sorry, High Score. They were always kind of talking about you have 3 tries always to beat a character, beat a boss or whatever. And Kendall and I were kind of talking like, why is the magic number always 3? Always. Mm-hmm. So I don't have an answer.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of times in like all the, I won't get into this too much, but like a lot of the games like Zelda, it's almost always you had to like hit the boss 3 times, or like the Mario game, like the older ones I've been replaying, you have to hit the boss 3 times.
Yeah, always Mario.
It just, I guess it's just like the right amount of challenge and repetition.
Yeah.
Before it gets too repetitive and you don't want to do it anymore.
I suppose. Because like once could be a fluke, twice could be a fluke maybe, but like 3 times it's kind of like, yeah. Well, 3 times the charm, right? I mean, that's an old adage too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say that's a wives' tale. I would say that that's kind of an adage, but yeah, that's my 3rd.
Do you want me to get into my last one?
Please.
This is an interesting one. I had not heard this one. It's about cats.
Okay.
And how they want to smother your babies.
Okay.
There's apparently an old wives' tale that cats will suck the breath from infants and suffocate them.
You know, I don't recall my grandma ever saying that to me.
I didn't ever hear this one, but apparently it's a thing. There's a few thoughts on this one. It might date back all the way like about almost a little over 300 years ago. No. I don't know. I can't do math right now. It was in 1791 from something that was called the Annual Register, which is basically a record of interesting events for the year. There was an entry that said a baby died, and according to the coroner, the cause of death was a cat sucking its breath, thereby occasioning a strangulation.
Dementor style?
I guess Dementor style. I don't know what sucking its breath means necessarily. When it said smother, I thought it meant like sit on its face, right?
Now they do that.
But it says sucking its breath.
Horrifying.
So one of this was an interesting one. One of the thoughts was that the cats are drawn to the smell of a baby's milky breath, as they put it in the article.
Maybe.
Because, you know, they're drinking milk. The cat smells it, and I guess they end up sucking the breath. I guess maybe like the cat gets in the baby's mouth and is like trying to get the milk.
I mean,
and then like the baby can't breathe and it's inhaling the baby's breath. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, the other one is that when you have a baby, you got to spend time with it, pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Cat gets a little jealous. Thinks it's time to take the baby out.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's the baby and it wants the attention.
Sure.
So next thing you know, baby is dead. And cat is alive. And now cat gets attention.
And cat is happy.
And cat is happy.
Wow, what a horrifying idea.
Yeah, that was a weird one. Most likely, though, the cause of these deaths had nothing to do with the cats. A lot of times, I think cats were just at the wrong place at the wrong time, so they were blamed. But most likely, it was due to SIDS.
Yeah.
And not anything that had to do with the cat.
Yeah.
It was just SIDS, probably, that caused the death.
I mean,
which is sad.
Very. I mean, because cats are animals, right? And they would recognize like a small. It's not a adult human. It's a small human. It's a baby. So I think that animals have instincts too. Like they wouldn't just like kill an innocent like baby.
Yeah, and cats get a bad rap all the time, but
your family has very nice cats.
They do, and a lot of cats. I mean, there's some cats out there that are rough, but for the most part, cats are nice. The ones I've been around, at least.
I was bit as a child.
Yeah, I know. You have the scar to prove it.
I do have a scar to prove it. Although your parents' cats have really changed my mind about cats.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my last one.
Nice. That was fascinating. Now I'm gonna have dreams about Dementor cats. Although, okay, how cute would a little cat be in like a little like hooded cloak costume?
That would be cute. Yeah.
It was super cute. Okay.
Last one.
My last one is the tale that if you pick up a penny on the sidewalk, it'll bring you good luck. So the saying is, find a penny, pick it up, all the day you'll have good luck.
Mm-hmm.
But where did that come from? So I didn't know, so I Googled it. A long time ago, it was thought that medals were gifts from the gods. So this is way back like pagan times. And they were sent down as a form of protection. Seeing pennies are made of copper, which is a metal, the currency became associated with good luck. Now it's an old wives' tale, but I've also heard that if it's tails, leave it lie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard that.
I don't
too.
remember the rest of it. Do you remember the rest of it?
No.
People are shouting. Hold on. Hold on.
If it's tails, leave it lie. If it's heads, say goodbye. I don't know.
Oh, here we go. Find a penny, pick it up, all the day you'll have good luck. Find a penny, leave it there, all the day you'll have despair. But I thought it was...
I've heard something about like depending on which side it's on is good or bad luck too. I've heard that also.
Yeah, I mean like heads up is supposed to be good luck and tails up is supposed to be bad luck.
Because it's the butt.
Maybe because it's the butt. This is www.goodluckdaily.com. Also, for hundreds of years, the penny has symbolized power, money, and the sign of good fortune. Also, different cultures throughout the world have stories related to the lucky penny. For example, in Ireland and throughout Northern Europe, it's said that pennies originally belonged to mythical creatures such as fairies, leprechauns, and pixies. When someone happened upon a lucky penny in this part of the world, they were to spit on the penny and throw it into nearby bushes or foliage so the little creatures could access them. So sort of like a toll or like a paying penance. In exchange for tossing the lucky penny, the human finder would receive future good luck and fortune. That tradition of the lucky penny is carried over into modern iterations. For example, brides in Western countries sometimes slip a penny in one of their bridal shoes before walking down the aisle. I had a sixpence. My mom gave me a sixpence to put in my shoe.
Oh, did you really?
Mm-hmm.
I did not.
I did. So, thanks to this Good Luck Daily, there are some also common sayings involving said penny. Put a penny wrapped in paper, keep it to avoid your debtors. Paper debtors. Not sure if those really rhyme, but that's okay. And also, if you found a copper penny on the ground in ancient times, you picked it up as a sign of protection from the gods. Oh, that they were protecting the ground you literally were walking on. So that's interesting.
Nice.
After reading this guide, you're ready to find your own lucky pennies.
Gee, thanks, guide. I didn't think I was ever ready to pick up a penny until now.
Oh, that's really funny. You're now ready.
I was a little scared about picking up pennies, but now I feel prepared.
Oh, honey, you are ready. That's really funny. Oh, website. So do you want to hear some of the ones that I grew up with? Some of them you might know. Harder than a brick bat.
Okay.
Like if I baked a cake myself and you ate some, you'd probably say, Logan,
Harder
this is harder than a brick bat. Hotter than a burnt boot, normally referring to temperature of the outside. Weather. Or Texas in August. Knee high to a grasshopper.
I feel like I've heard that one.
Really?
Yeah. That one sounds familiar.
My mom texted me that one and I went, what? And she said she thinks that means in reference to someone's stature.
Knee high to grasshopper.
Someone's really short or possibly young. Speaking of age, have you heard long in the tooth?
Yes.
Okay. I always thought that was a very strange one. I'm going to slap you down a rat hole.
You say that to me.
My grandma was a fan of that one. I can't really say which one was her favorite. I'd have to ask my family. However, I remember that one fondly. She loved that one.
You say that one frequently, too.
I mean, it's good. It's better than like cursing out someone. If you're just like,
slap him down rat hole.
I'm going to slap you down a rat hole. And people are like, ew, what's that? And I'm like, exactly. I'm going to knuckle your head.
Okay. Is that like a noogie?
It just basically means I'm going to beat you up.
Oh, okay.
Knuckles first. If someone was loud, my aunt texted me this one. If someone was loud, Dad would call them a whale mouth. Okay. I didn't get too many from my grandfather specifically, just due to the times. Some phrases
Some were
necessarily
a little more colorful.
A little more colorful, not particularly to be shared in this day and age. However, my aunt texted me another one. Shut the door. Were you born in a barn? And my grandma would often tell them to go outside and get the stink blown off of you.
Nice.
I don't know. So those were some Appalachian. I don't know if those are technically wives' tales, but those were some good phrases.
Very interesting. Your grandma seemed like a very nice lady.
She was fun.
She seems like she was fun.
She was a pistol at times.
Too bad I never met her.
I think she would have liked you. Would you like me to do Wikipedia?
I actually found one that I kind of want to do.
Give it to me.
Before I do that, though, why don't we go through our little announcement one more time for the next couple episodes for October.
Yes, if you have any spooky stories about ghosts or any personal sort of anything spooky that you want to share, we have a couple lined up. We would love a couple more. Yeah, I mean, ghosts are great. Gotta love ghosts.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love a good ghost story? Come on.
Yeah, feel free to send something in. We might try to get one of our friends. We have a couple of friends that have some interesting stories, so we might see if we can work out kind of having them jump in for a little bit in one of our episodes, which might be fun to have our first like guest host or guest star.
So send it our way if you want to share with us anything. Did that sentence make sense? It's
Yes.
getting a little late. Okay.
Yeah. If you have any cool Halloween themed stories that you'd like to share with
Theme stories.
with fellow listeners, feel free to send them our way, and we'll be sure to give you credit. Unless you don't want credit, then we'll keep it anonymous.
We'll keep it anonymous. You can send it to us on Instagram. You can DM us. You can send it on our Facebook. You can email us. Honey, what's the email address?
It is talesaplenty@outlook.com.
Thank you. Love it when you say outlook.com.
And our Facebook and Instagram are all Tales of Plenty.
Find us.
No weird wording or anything like that. It's all Tales of Plenty.
Same logo for each one, so no confusion.
I think our Google SEO is working, so if you type Tales of Plenty, you should be able to find our stuff in Google.
Pretty sure.
But yeah. Are you ready for Wikipedia Roulette?
Give it to me.
I'm excited. This is first shot, okay, too. Sometimes we like click this multiple times because you get stinkers.
Yeah.
This was legit I hit it once and this came up and I'm super excited.
I'm scared.
I got Jingle Bells.
Okay.
Jingle Bells is one of the best known and commonly sung American songs in the world. It was written by James Lord Pierpont.
Oh.
Born 1822, died 1893, and published under the title One Horse Open Sleigh.
Oh, that's interesting.
In the autumn of 1857. It had been claimed that it was originally written to be sung by a Sunday school choir or as a drinking song. Although,
either or, you know.
Either or.
Whichever one's
That's
free
a big
that day.
either or, but
whoever's just
Sunday
free.
school choir, drinking. Although it has no original connection to Christmas, it became associated with Christmas music and the holiday season in general decades after it was first performed by Kidoki. That's interesting.
Are you okay? What happened?
Oh, it's got a little racist. Although it has no original connection to Christmas, it became associated with Christmas music and the holiday season in general decades after it was first performed by a blackface minstrel performer, Johnny Pell, in Ordway Hall in September 16th, 1857.
Huh.
That was not where I thought I was going to go. Interesting that it wasn't like about Christmas though before.
I mean, yeah, they don't really say anything about Christmas. But I want to tell you my favorite rendition of Jingle Bells presently in 2020.
Okay.
It's the Pentatonics Jingle Bells.
Oh, okay.
Because it's really, really fast and it gets kooky crazy. Jingle bells, jingle, jingle, jingle.
Oh, yeah.
Bells,
That is a good
jingle,
one.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, it gets real fast.
That's a good one. I have been. No, I'm just kidding. I'll get it right this time. I am Kendall Runquist. You are Logan Runquist. That was awkward.
I was just going to stare at you until you told me who I am. I'm Logan Runquist.
Me, Tarzan. You, Jane.
Jane. Great movie. Let's go watch it.
I'm Kendall Runquist.
I'm Logan Runquist.
This has been Tales of Plenty.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.